The MLB Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Fantasy. They're hooking up new customers. Pledge $5, get $100 bonus funds. We use promo code MLB SGPN. And welcome everyone to the MLB Gambling Podcast here on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. It's currently Sunday night, October 12th, around 8:20 p.m. Eastern Time. I'm your host, Scott Rachel, joined again by Dylan Rock together to break down the thoughts for the Monday games for baseball. We have one game going on right now. Toronto's up 1-0 in the bottom of the first against Seattle. But we have two games going on for Monday, as we have game 2 of that series, and we also have game 1 of the Dodgers and Brewers series. Dylan, how's it going with you? I know that the Brewers ended up winning, which ended up working out for a pretty low-scoring but entertaining game. How's it going? What's up?
I'm doing well. Football's been pretty good for me today. Bet's been going good. They're up 1-0 right now, the Blue Jays. So, yeah, all good. How's your Sunday doing?
Fine. Kind of up and down. I feel like a lot of the chalk ended up winning. So if you were on the chalk, you cashed. If not, then you ended up getting killed. I was kind of in the middle, so it ended up being an okay Sunday. Wasn't amazing by any means, but I'd say it was fine. But
tennis good?
Tennis, I ended up not doing too well in my last episode for my picks, but it's kind of ironic because I picked, or not really ironic, it's more just paradoxical. I picked the exact outcome correctly, but I got too creative with the plays that I somehow found the exact middle ground where I lost my plays, but I won my picks. Like, if that makes any sense?
Yeah.
So, I picked the person to win, and I picked the length, but I just didn't go for that for my actual lock and dog plays for some reason, so I kind of got in my own way.
Sometimes we get too creative for our own good.
Yeah, it's kind of what happened there. But either way, I actually just did a tennis episode like an hour ago for the upcoming...
What's going on right now?
They're in mostly Europe again. So we have 3 events coming up starting tomorrow. So I broke those down.
Nice.
But yeah, if you want to check out tennis, check out the Tennis Gambling Podcast hosted by me. But once again, we're here for baseball. So before we get into any of the thoughts, we'll actually recap Game 5, because why not, of the Cubs and Brewers series. Before we get into that, though, a reminder, the NHL is also back. So if you want to check out the Hockey Gambling Podcast, recommend it. Join Ryan and Joel as they break down the biggest games, storylines, awards, and best bets throughout the season. Let it slide. So starting off with the recap of what happened on Saturday night, the Cubs once again going home early as the Brewers eliminated them as they won Game 5. You had 4 runs, all solo home runs, and Milwaukee had more of them than Chicago as they won the game 3-1. Pretty straightforward. I'd say both teams had chances.
Mm-hmm.
Neither team really converted any chances because every run was once again courtesy of a solo home run. But Milwaukee was the better team for pretty much the entire season. And when it mattered, they were the better team again. So, any thoughts?
Yeah, Terang had that big home run in the 4th inning, or the 7th inning, excuse me. But outside of that, I thought it was pretty clear cut. I thought Jacob Mizorowski pitched well. I thought he pitched well because, the tail end of the season, he really wasn't doing well. Thought Uribe, 2 innings of really solid work. He got the save done for Milwaukee. But just another game where we talked about the offense just went MIA for Chicago. They had the home run in the 2nd inning, but outside of that, really couldn't muster up any really big hits. My question to you is, did you hear Kyle Tucker's response after the game? It was a really nice way of saying, yeah, he's not coming back.
Yeah, that was my interpretation, which was, thanks for having me. I'm going to get paid. And he is going to leave for free agency, of course. He opted out, so not a surprise. That was expected. He's probably not coming back to Chicago.
Why didn't they resign? Why didn't they extend him?
Well, that opens up an interesting conversation because people were talking about how much money Tucker was going to be worth last offseason when the Cubs traded for him. Because everyone assumed that they would extend him because you just traded for him. So there were rumors of like $400+ million for Kyle Tucker. No offense to Kyle Tucker. He's a good player.
Yeah.
He's not worth $400 million. No. So if you're looking at it from that perspective, I understand why Chicago didn't pay him, because clearly his agent and his representation were expecting some massive numbers, which I think is a pretty serious overpay. And it sounds like you agree with me on that note. So For $400 million and change, I don't know what the market is for, but I think the Soto market might kind of reset the outfield superstar market, and Tucker's just not that. And I feel like that's what we noticed when he was with the Cubs. I think if you ask Cubs fans what their thoughts are on Kyle Tucker, it's mixed because he was a solid player. He was terrible midway through the season. And then for the playoffs, he was up and down. But I think most Cubs would say he was a solid outfielder who's probably not worth a ton of money. Is that a fair assessment of what Cubs?
100%. I agree. And I'm looking it up right now. And yeah, the market is saying 400 to 600 million. Which
he had a good season, but with the stats he had, he's not a generational player that's warranting that much money. It's just not.
No, he's not. No, he's not. What do you think, like a Vladdy contract? Do you think he's worth something along those lines?
I think it's tricky because Toronto's also a quote-unquote desperate team trying to keep a young, homegrown player.
So is Chicago.
Well, Tucker's not homegrown. They just traded for him.
But still, like you got to get a guy like that.
Yeah, but I think it also adds to a little bit of the fanfare when you actually draft the player, you develop the player.
That's fair.
For Vlad's case, develop the player, and then you end up paying him a bunch of money. There's an attachment there with the fan base. I think that's also why Toronto did it. Plus, based on the actual playoff runs and the fact that Vlad was an MVP finalist a couple of years ago, do you think Vlad Jr. is a better player than Kyle Tucker?
Yeah.
That's why he's getting paid more money.
Where do you think he could land then now? Like, because obviously it doesn't look like he's going to back to Chicago. So where do you think, like, I guess potential suitors for Kyle Tucker, who's eventually, because I agree, I think someone's going to pay him. You think the Yankees? Do you think maybe he returns to Houston?
Well, the Yankees are interesting because Bellinger's a free agent too.
Yeah.
So there could be some type of, I'd say, negotiating going on for tactics, whether, like, who would you rather have and why, who's cheaper, etc. So Tucker will be compared to Bellinger the entire offseason, and Bellinger will be the cheaper option. We have Kyle Tucker at home. But that's kind of the comparison, I guess.
Yeah.
But the point is, where do I think he's going to go? I don't know if an elite team would actually pay him that much money. Because I'm thinking of his skill set, and he's a solid player. There's no doubt about it, but he's had injury issues in the past, and the Cubs season was pretty up and down.
You know what a team that seems desperate that probably would pay that kind of money,
I said the Angels for sure, but if you want to throw the Angels out there again, sure.
I think San Francisco Giants.
Okay.
Buster Posey's I think he's the president or something. We see him make a big splash, get Rafael Devers. They gave William Adames $1 billion fucking dollars. So it wouldn't be surprising if Tucker went to them. I mean, they need some help as well in the NL West. Yeah,
but the point is, do I think an elite team would be willing to overpay for Kyle Tucker? The answer is no.
No.
So I think you're looking at a team that's average that thinks that Kyle Tucker can get them over the hump. You mentioned the Giants.
Yeah.
Kind of
he only batted 259. It wasn't the best postseason for him either.
No, but once again, he had a home run in game 4, but in general this season, 266, 22 home runs, 73 RBIs, 136 games. It's classic Kyle Tucker.
Yeah.
He missed 20 and change games. He had an overall pretty good season as like a 5-tool player, but those aren't the stats of a $500 million man. No. So I think there's just a massive gap between what he should be getting paid and what he might get paid, or what he thinks he should get paid. So I think he's gone. But for the Cubs season, how would you describe it? Because going into the season, they're expected to win the division. And then Milwaukee turned out to be an absolute demon, which wasn't their fault. But they made the playoffs. They lost in 5 to a team they probably should lose to, if we're being honest. I feel like it's an overall B- season.
Yeah, I would give them a B just because when you lose Justin Steele, one of their best pitchers, going down immediately, I mean, there was no expectation for this team. And, you know, the Brewers were a wagon all year. You win a series, and then you go the distance with the team, you know, like you said, that they
with
probably
the 1 seed in the league.
So I think they kind of overachieved, if anything. They just ran out of arms. I think they ran out of arms, and offensively, they never really flourished in the postseason. So they got past the San Diego Padres who they always fail in the postseason. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I'd give them a solid B. I think they went farther than I think a lot of Cubs fans expected, honestly.
Yeah, Cubs fans are going to treat it as a failure because of the unrealistic expectations they might have had preseason, which is winning the division or making a good playoff run or both, you know what? You won a round. I think it was a flawed roster. Your team in the second half was, I don't want to say falling apart, but it was pretty stagnant the entire second half. I mean, Milwaukee ran away with the division with like 2 months to go, and the Cubs were kind of coasting. And you won a series. You know what? You gave your fans a decent amount of games to root for them, and unfortunately they fell short. But Milwaukee's the better team. So I'm not going to say that they should have won the series, etc. But the Cubs had a decent year. They need to get better, and we'll see what they do moving forward. But Cubs had an okay season based on their expectations. So,
do you think the Brewers should be this big of an underdog, though? Well,
we're going to get into the NLCS in a second. We wanted to start off with how we actually got the Brewers into the NLCS. But anything else you want to add on the Cubs?
No, I'm good.
All right, we'll mention them more maybe during the offseason if some moves happen with them. They tend to be pretty aggressive, or at least they can be. They got Kyle Tucker, for example, last offseason. We'll see what happens. Anyway, before we get into the NLCS breakdown, do reminder once again, they're brought to you by our sponsor, MyBookie.ag. Use them bet on football, college football. They have a prop they're second to none. You could use their motto, really to heart, which we agree with. Bet on anything, anywhere, anytime. Use crypto for deposits and payouts. And sign up for your new account. Use code SGPN for a special 100% bet back bonus up to $500 to new customers. Look at the G promo code SGPN. We're also brought to you by Novig. They are America's #1 prediction market for sports. You're getting some great price as well with Novig. They've reduced juice available in the Rebel states. Download the Novig app. Get $50 when you spend just $5 if you use our promo code SGPN. Get on the extra Novig. Promo code SGPN. Welcome back, everyone, to the MLB Gambling Podcast. Finish going through what happened, or for the recap for Game 5 between the Brewers and the Cubs. Time to move on into the actual series preview for the NLCS. So we're going to go a bit out of order here, but I think we should probably do the series first. So for this series, we know that Milwaukee, of course, is the 1 seed, and yet the sports books truly do not care because the Dodgers are minus 200. The Brewers are plus 170, despite, once again, the Brewers having home field in the actual series. Mm-hmm. It is the 2-3-2 format, though, so if the Dodgers do win one of the first 2 games, they do win the series in 5 if they sweep the 3 home games. So keep that in mind. But the actual total games here, 5.5, the over is minus 160, under is plus 130. And for the series spread, Dodgers minus 1.5 games is about minus 115, or minus 105, I mean. Brewers plus 1.5 games is minus 115. Now, I do want to point out, though, the Dodgers, of course, had a bit more time off because they ended up winning in 4 against Philly. I do have to point out, by the way, do you know what they faced off 6 times in the regular season? Do you know what the head-to-head record was?
6 times, 3-3.
It was 6-0 Milwaukee.
Wow.
Milwaukee won every game against the Dodgers.
And they're still being disrespected like this?
And the Dodgers are minus 200.
Wow.
So we know playoff baseball is a different animal, and the odds makers fully believe that, apparently, because the Dodgers are favored. Now, the Brewers, because they ended up having to burn some arms of the bullpen game in Game 5, they announced that Peralta will be pitching Game 2. For Game 1, we don't know. There's going to be some combination of maybe Quintana in there. They're going to throw some stuff out there, but it's going to be creative. For the Dodgers, they have Blake Snell. So that's why they're favored, because you have Snell, you have, of course, Yamamoto, you have a bunch of great starters, and you even have Sasaki, who's been a demon in that bullpen. So that's going to definitely help out for a more stable pitching staff for at least the starting end and the closer end. So for the series, I'll ask you, Milwaukee's 6-0 against this team so far this season. I also realized I meant to say Dodgers, not Cubs. My bad. Let me just fix that. Dodgers, Brewers. Sorry about that. A series preview for the NLCS. So you think it's a bit expensive on the Dodgers?
I do.
So I'll ask you, what price would you have if you had the price?
Probably like minus 150, minus 160 for the series. I think 2-1 is a little disrespectful, especially that you just named that they're 6-0 versus them head-to-head in the regular season. Now, I get it. Obviously, postseason is much different, especially with the experience that the Dodgers have. But I do think it's a little egregious. I think we talked about yesterday with Lante about the over-under games with Seattle game. I like the over in this one. I like over 5.5. I think the Brewers at home will be able to take 1 or 2 from the Dodgers, especially with how their bullpen has been for LA. So it's a little chalky. You mentioned at minus 160. I don't mind the over 5.5. And I'm going to take the plus 1.5 here with the Brewers. I think they're a scrappy team that they just don't die sometimes. And I think with their pitching, I worry offensively sometimes because in the shootout, I just don't trust Milwaukee to keep up with LA. But if it's a close nip and tuck game, I think that's exactly how the Brewers want to play the game. So I'll take the +1.5 at -104, and I like the over 5.5 games.
Yeah, I think we agree on this one. I understand that Snell, Yamamoto, crazy overall rotation that they have. I get why they're favored, but at the same point, we know the Dodgers are built on star power. Ohtani's been invisible the entire postseason.
Yeah.
Freeman has not been good either so far in the postseason. So the star power offensively has really not been there. Betts has been good so far. Kiki's had some good at-bats in general. It's more of an ancillary piece. And Teoscar had the big home run in game one. But a couple of the stars have not actually shown up so far for the Dodgers. Maybe you could argue that's why they're dangerous, because if Ohtani and Freeman wake up, then of course you have a lot of problems on your hands. But I think Milwaukee's going to pitch pretty well. We know they're creative with the bullpen usage, and I do think with their home field, it helps. They were undefeated at home in the Cubs series, so I think they can definitely do enough at home to keep the series competitive. I think this is going 7, actually. I think it might end up back in Milwaukee for a winner-take-all game. I'll ask you for length, though, in the series. You like the over. You're picking the Dodgers, though. At least it sounds like you're picking the Dodgers.
Yeah, Dodgers in 7.
You have 7. Okay. Yeah. So it sounds like we agree completely for this one. I wanted to make a case for Dodgers in 6, but a reminder, Game 6 and Game 7 are both in Milwaukee.
Yeah.
So there's no difference there. You can't win on your home field in Game 6 if you're the Dodgers. But I do think the Dodgers are going to get it done. I picked them to win the World Series in the preview episode with Alante right before the postseason started. I just think with Sasaki now in the bullpen, who's been really, really good, and with the rotation they have, and hoping that Freeman or Ohtani or both wake up, I like their overall talent. Milwaukee offensively, we know, is unlike other teams. They can score a bunch of runs without hitting home runs. They can pull that off. So I do think that can make them dangerous, but the Brewers have not had a ton of postseason success in the past, and maybe I just feel like there's a bit of, I can't really say big brother, little brother, but a part of me does feel like if the moment ends up getting pretty, I'd say, nerve-wracking, and they have a chance to make their first World Series as a franchise since 1982, I do think that they might potentially blink, and the Dodgers might just take it. Experience matters.
Yeah, we saw it last year against the Mets, how just even in a wild card game, the game just got too big for them. So, yeah, I agree. I do think it helps a little bit being home for Game 6 and 7, but I agree. I mean, the experience with everyone on this Dodger team, I think Roberts will be able to pull it out in 7, but should be a really fun game, a really fun series.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's going to be close. I think it's going to come down to the wire. I think there might be a chance the Brewers are actually leading in the series.
Yeah.
Maybe after 3 games even.
Like 2-1.
Yeah, I can see 2-1. I think it's a
100%.
Realistic expectation. I'm not saying that the Dodgers will be facing elimination at any point.
No.
I mean, we have it going to a Game 7, so in theory, both teams are going to be facing elimination.
Yeah.
I think the Brewers could be up maybe even 3-2 in the series. We'll see. But do I think they actually finish the job? I'm going to say no. But if they did, I would not be that shocked.
No, me
either. This Milwaukee team's very good.
Yeah, I agree.
So I think the rotation, though, eventually is going to be a problem because they're using a bullpen game or some type of creative Quintana combo in Game 1, which is not ideal.
No.
So we'll see what happens. But we both have the same thing. We have the Dodgers in 7 in this series. So for the exact price, by the way, for the exact outcome, Dodgers in 7 is plus 475.
Love it. Oh, yeah.
So there you go. Anyway, moving on to, we're going to go out of order, actually, just to segue into what we just talked about. Game 1 between the Dodgers and the Brewers. Now, for this one, we have Snell pitching for the Dodgers. We don't actually have a listed pitcher for Milwaukee, but they're going to be announcing that within the next, of course, like probably 12, 20 hours, give or take. But Quintana will be involved in some capacity. For this game, though, Dodgers are favored, minus 150 on the road. Brewers are around plus 130. For the over-under in this game, I see it being set at about 7.5, minus 120 on the over, and I see even money on the under. So we know Snell has been very good this postseason. 13 innings, 18 strikeouts, 1.38 ERA. He's been worse on the road overall this season, 4.3 ERA. but he has allowed a grand total of 3 earned runs in his last 5 starts combined. So Snell has been an absolute ace, and we'll see if he can keep pitching like it in game 1 on the road. Now, I do want to point out, though, that Snell this season ended up not facing off against Milwaukee. So he did not partake in any of the 6 games Milwaukee did win. The numbers against Milwaukee, though, Milwaukee's been awful against them. The active batters have 38 plate appearances, a 152 batting average, and a 263 on base. 0 home runs. Slugging is at 212. Snell has owned this team throughout his career, at least based on the numbers against the active batters. Milwaukee's going to be reinventing the wheel because they used a bunch of pitchers for game 5. It's a bad spot for Milwaukee. It's not as bad as Seattle because they played 15 innings, of course. But the same concept.
Yeah.
Dodgers had some rest. Brewers did not. No travel, though, unlike Seattle, because they had to go to Canada. Milwaukee's been chilling at home. But I'll go Dodgers here. It's expensive, but I get it. I'll go Dodgers first 5, though. I'll avoid the middle relief. Give me Snell first 5 minus half a run.
Do you have a price on that? I was trying to look at first 5 lines, but
yeah, so I'll pull it up right now. So Snell in the first 5, you can find available. Sorry, pulling this up right now. Snell first 5, you can find minus 1.5 or minus a half a run at minus 105.
Okay, nice. So you're getting some plus money.
No,
Yeah,
it's minus 105, but
minus. Sorry, I only made my numbers only made the Dodgers a minus 130 favorite here. So I do agree. I think it's a little pricey here for the Dodgers in game 1. So I think value is with the Brewers here. Depends. I think they might start Quinn, and then maybe Quintana. It's going to be a bullpen type day, like you said, though. But
I don't trust Priester at all. That's a separate problem.
No, so
he didn't even go an inning, so that's why I don't know what they're going to do.
So that's exactly why I like the over 7.5 at minus 110. If anything, my total came out to 8.3. Maybe to your point, if it is Priester, maybe Dodgers first 5 team total over as well. I mean, I liked him in the regular season, but man, last week was bad. 4 runs on 3 hits. To Scott's point, he didn't even get out of the first inning, and that was against the Cubs.
Yeah.
The Dodgers have a much better lineup than Chicago. They're averaging around 5 runs per game this postseason, LA. And even if Snell shoves, which I think he will, I mentioned it earlier, the Dodgers bullpen have given up a few runs as well, so they are susceptible. I think the Brewers can score at home. Small sample size, but in 3 home games for the Brewers, they're averaging 6 runs per game in Milwaukee. So I do think we'll see some runs here in this game. So I like the over, if anything.
Yeah, my prediction for the actual starter for this game, I think after Priester got torched in the last start, I got to imagine Quintana starts. I think the logic there is Priester is inexperienced in the playoffs. Quintana's been there before. Let Quintana start the game, bring Priester out of the bullpen, and maybe that way take some of the pressure off. Oh, that's what I would do?
Yeah, so you put Priester back in the pen.
Yeah, and then I'd bring Priester out as the piggyback for Quintana. That's what I would do if I had to. Because I think you'd agree based on experience. Quintana, I think's earned the right to earn a little bit of trust to not get torched as soon as the game starts. Because if Priester gets killed in the first inning of both postseason
it's over for him.
He's mentally cooked.
Yeah.
So you might want to ease him along, bring him in against the bottom of the lineup maybe at some point, and go from there. But Quintana's been there before. He was good out of the bullpen against Chicago.
Yeah.
I think Quintana ends up starting. Otani's also a lefty, so you can pull that angle if you want to as well. So I think Quintana will start. I think Priester comes out of the bullpen. They might flip-flop it. We'll see. But you get the point. I like the Dodgers early. I don't trust them enough to lay 150 with the middle relief this team has because I don't like it. They've been using a couple of, I'd say, questionable relievers in there. And I do think at the end of the day, they've been using Sheehan out of the bullpen, who I think has been just not very good in the bullpen. So I'll pass on that. Give me Dodgers first 5 in this game.
Yeah.
Minus half a run at minus 105. Dodgers team total first 5, by the way, 2.5 plus 115. I see 1.5 minus 170.
So they're starting to go to 2.5s now. We saw Blue Jays go to 2.5 for tonight's game too.
Well, it's partially based on the actual money line price. Both teams are decent favorites. So I don't mind the 2.5, but I'll prefer Dodgers. I mean, Dodgers score 1 run. There's a chance you're good with Snell. So I'll go with the first 5 minus a half instead. Any thoughts for anything else in this game?
No, that's all I had.
Cool. So moving on to game 2 between the Mariners and the Blue Jays. I know game 1 is not over yet, but Toronto is currently up 1-0 after the end of the second inning. So for the pricing, I saw a couple of exchanges actually did post some lines. So Toronto's favored, -144 for now. Seattle's at +127. For the over-under, somewhere around 7.5 or 8.5. So we can be convenient and call it 8. Is that fair?
Yeah.
So we'll call it 8. You're probably going to find a couple of numbers around there. 7.5 or 8 is my guess. Now, for the actual pitcher, you have Yasevich being listed for Toronto. For Seattle, we don't know because they used a bunch of people in that game 5. They have Miller going in game 1. We'll see how long he goes. But we know Gilbert and Castillo will probably not be pitching in game 2. Then again, Kirby also pitched in game 5 as well. So I don't actually know who's going to pitch for Seattle.
I honestly have a feeling they might start Castillo for like an inning or 2. It's going to be just like what we described in the last game with the Brewers. It's going to be a bullpen type day for the Mariners. It has to be.
I think it has to, but I quickly want to see the pitch counts for Seattle's guys.
I think he pitched like, what, 35, 40 pitches?
So Gilbert threw 34.
Okay.
Castillo only threw 15.
Okay, yeah, so Castillo
probably
can start.
going to be Castillo, yeah.
Yeah.
Castillo can actually maybe go a couple innings. So that's going to be the option if I had to guess for Seattle. But either way, Toronto, we know has been great at home. They're undefeated so far this postseason. Right now, they're up 1-0. We'll see if they hold on to that lead. But the point is, it's a much better spot for Toronto. Yasevich was amazing against the Yankees. Ended up giving up no hits, actually, in the first ever postseason start. Struck out, I think it was 11 in that outing. I'll ask you, though, for this game, any case for Seattle?
I don't think so. I really don't. I said it yesterday. I think it's going to be a short series here for them. I don't trust their lineup offensively. I think they have one hit through 2 innings so far, and it was Kyle Raleigh, who surprisingly has been really good here. He's batting around, I think, like 409 for Seattle. But outside of that, I just don't trust him. Yasevich, you mentioned, he's been phenomenal. I mean, the kid's a rookie, and for him to be as good as he has been for Toronto, he's given them good length. The bullpen does worry me a little bit, but
I actually don't know if it does. I think Toronto's bullpen kind of answers some questions against the Yankees.
It did.
I know the Yankees have a flawed batting approach. So does Seattle.
I guess just ERA wise, they have given up some runs here to the Yankees. Not so much the starting pitching; it's been the pen that the Yankees scored most of their runs on.
Well, I mean, you had the one game 2 where the Yankees were down double digits and they scored a bunch of runs where Toronto used relievers they didn't care about. Yeah, that also skews some numbers as well.
Outside of the last game where I thought Schneider pushed every right button, they've given up 14 runs on 24 hits. So they have given up some, and to your point, it is skewed a little bit, but yeah, I just don't think they could compete offensively with Toronto here. So depending on the price, I probably would take Toronto here, maybe in the first 5, kind of like how you did with the Dodgers here on the run line in the first 5. Eliminate the bullpens. I think they'll be able to get to Castillo and whoever they wind up throwing in the bullpen after that. But yeah, I got to go with Toronto here at home.
I'm going to push back a little bit, though, for the bullpens because I don't think Seattle's bullpen was that great against Detroit.
No, I don't either. I don't
think Detroit can hit at all.
No, I think both have honestly been susceptible. Honestly, the only one that's been good so far, Milwaukee.
Yeah, with the exception of Ashby, who has not been
When he went in, I thought of you. Yes, I said.
Yeah, and he immediately let 2 guys get on base. And
I was like, why are they throwing Ashby?
And then he struck somebody out and they pulled him. But yeah, Milwaukee's bullpen's been solid. We know that. But I do think Toronto's bullpen really wasn't that bad in that Yankee series. They were up by a ton of runs in a bunch of games.
They answered some questions because I know a lot of people coming into this postseason questioned them.
Yeah, but I like the fact that they were actually using a lot of different, I'd say, strategies. I thought they did a good job with the lefties against the lefties, the righties against the righties. I thought that overall, I thought he handled the bullpen very well, better than I thought he would in that series. And as you said, he hit every right button in a once again a closeout game. So a lot of questions were answered for me for Toronto in that first series. I like Toronto. And the bullpen is not as bad as you're saying. And they have the lefties to match up, the righties to match up as well, and their offense we know is nasty. So, and of course they're at home. So I like Toronto with you. Right now, best price I see is -144. I thought about the run one. I mean, we saw eye to eye for this series as well. We think Toronto kills this team. I had Toronto in 5. I think it does end up being 2-0 going back to Seattle, but we'll see what happens. But anything else you want to add for this game, over under?
No, what'd you say? Around we'll say 8.
We'll say 8. Yeah,
we'll say 8. I think that's spot on. Because my numbers, if it was Yasevich, which is confirmed in Castillo, my total came out to 8.1.
It's probably gonna be a mixed line where some will have 8, some will have 7.5. But it's in Toronto, so the weather shouldn't be a factor because they also have the retractable roof.
Yeah.
So the offense has been great. Yasevich is still young. Castillo did pitch in Game 5. Not many pitches, but still, there are some questions there. And 8.5 feels too high for a playoff game when Seattle can't score more than 3 runs in basically any playoff games. So I think 7.5, 8 sounds right.
Yeah, I think it's spot on, actually.
So you're going to go with the over?
Yeah, if I had to, I would lean over.
I'm with you. I think the over makes sense for this one. Anything else you want to add for this game?
No, I'm good.
All right, cool. Anyway, that's going to wrap it up for the 2 games on Monday. Before we get into the lock and dog picks, I remind you once again, they're brought to you by our sponsor, Arnold Fantasy. Play Fantasy Pick'em. Chance to win 5 times your entry. Pick higher or lower on different player stats. They'll different sports as well. Check out the new offer. They have for new customers. Play just $5. Get $100 bonus funds. Use promo code MLB SGPN. We're also brought to you by Rhythm. They're off to a great start in college football and NFL with picks and props, giving away weekly cash prizes just for tracking your bets in the app. Track 5 bets of the same type from any model that you build, and you can win $1K. Use promo code SGPN25 as well when you download the Rhythm app for a quarter off the first month. Download Rhythm. Once again, promo code SGPN25. Welcome back, everyone, to the MLB Gambling Podcast. Finished going through the 2 games for Monday. Time to move on into the lock and dog picks. What do you like, Dylan, as your lock and dog for the show?
Yeah, lock. I am going to take Dodgers first 5 team total over 2.5 here. You said it's at minus or plus money?
That was plus 114.
Plus 114. I'll take that as my dog then. I'll start off with my dog. Should be a bullpen type day, but on the road with how hot the bats have been for the Dodgers, I think they'll be able to muster up a few runs. So I'll take first 5 team total over here for the Dodgers. As my dog, I'll take the Blue Jays here, or as my lock, excuse me. As my lock, I'll take Blue Jays here on the money line for game 2. I know Castillo only pitched 15 pitches in that relief spot on Friday, but I just think Toronto at home, they're just a different breed. Don't like the bullpen for Seattle. I think they'll be able to get to him as well. So, yeah, I'll take Toronto here for my lock.
Yeah, so for my lock, I'm going to go with the Dodgers first 5 minus half a run at minus 105. I think it's a great spot. You have Snell against some combination of Priester, who might get killed, and Quintana, who has playoff experience against the Dodgers. Look at his actual numbers, and not amazing, not terrible. I mean, team on base has a 324 on base percentage against them, but they also have 170 plus plate appearances against them. They've seen him a lot. So I think that can be a problem. I think Snell should go very well. His numbers are great against Milwaukee, and he's been very good for the last month and a half. So I like Snell early. I like the Dodgers offense early. I will go with the Dodgers minus half a run in the first 5 at minus 105 as my lock. For my dog, I don't have a line on it, but I'll go for it. Give me Toronto minus 1.5. I think that with Seattle using Castillo, maybe, and with some other combination. Toronto at home, I just really can't bet against. Maybe it's like Milwaukee at home, which ironically I am going against them, but we'll see. Both of those teams have won every home game. They're both very good. They got buys for reasons. And the fact is, I think Toronto is just much better than Seattle. So I'll go with Toronto in this one, minus 1.5, whatever that plus money price will be. Anyway, moving on to the home run picks. Dylan, you had Contreras, so I'm forcing you to do it again. What do you like as your home run pick here for the Monday card?
Yeah, so 4 home runs. I don't want to tell myself, but I kind of been on a heater, I feel like. But
that's why I keep asking you, because you actually have been hitting some home runs.
Give me... I actually liked the player prop, and I didn't like a home run, but I'll go with my boy. He was my MVP pick for last year's World Series, but Tommy Edman.
Okay.
I'll go Tommy Edman. I don't have the price here, but he did have a home run against Philly on the 8th, so a few days ago. So I think he could have one. He is 1 for 4 with home runs and 4 starts against Milwaukee. So yeah, I'll take Tommy Edman. I think plus 750. Is that what you're seeing?
Yeah, I see 750.
Yeah. Give me Tommy Edman.
Yeah, so for my home run pick, I actually thought about Ohtani, but I'm not going to do it. Ohtani's stats against Milwaukee are hilarious, by the way. He has 4 hits, 3 of them are home runs the entire season. So it's 255, though, which is too cheap for a guy that's been this bad in the postseason. So I can't take Ohtani. I wanted to, but I'm not going to be able to do it. So instead of that, let me just see how this guy's been doing against the Brewers this season. It's tough to actually go for pitcher matchups because you don't know who's going to start the game. But, yeah, it's not going to be Teoscar. Teoscar is 1 for 11 against Milwaukee this season, so I can't go for him. Let me just see if Freeman has had decent numbers against Milwaukee this season. Freeman has been terrible. Freeman's 1 for 19 against Milwaukee.
Wow.
So I might actually just go for it. You know what? I'm going to go with... Yeah, I was going to do it. I'm going to go with the guy that has been really bad so far in the postseason. Said before, though, 4 hits against Milwaukee this season. He has 3 home runs. I think Ohtani can go yard pretty easily in the stadium, especially. And you're looking at his numbers against Quintana. They're good. Against Quintana, 2 for 6, 2 home runs. 4 RBIs, 3 walks. So he has been very good against them. I like the spot. Give me Ohtani home run at plus 255 for game 1 of the NLCS. Anyway, that's going to wrap it up for the show. Dylan, anything else you want to add?
No, just good luck, and hopefully we cash our Toronto play. But good luck and enjoy the games.
Yeah, same to you, whether it involves baseball or Monday Night Football between the Lions and the Chiefs. But a bit of a schedule update. I will be doing the first half of the week next week. I'll be back with you, actually, tomorrow to get into the Tuesday games. But I'll be in Atlantic City.
Nice, coming to Jersey.
Yes, I'm going to your neck of the woods. So, point is, I will be unavailable to record the MLB shows midweek, but I'll be available to start the week. So we're changing the schedule up a bit.
Are you entering a poker tournament?
My friend is.
Nice.
I'm going there for support and also to gamble. So
nice.
I'll be at the Borgata.
Oh, nice. Borgata is really nice. It's off the strip, but it's nice.
Yeah.
It's funny you say my neck of the woods because you know I live in Jersey. Mouse, every time I'm on an episode with Mal, he thinks I live in New York because I work there. But he thinks I live in New York. He goes, and Dylan in some parts of New York. And I never have the heart to tell him I don't live in New York. You don't
voluntarily choose to be a Devils fan unless you live in New Jersey.
Exactly. Good win, though, by the way.
Very good win. Very good win. I can't relate.
No, I didn't want to bring the Islanders up.
Man. My team's terrible. But anyway, point is, I'll be in Jersey. How far is Borgata from you anyway?
Oh, I'm all the way up. I'm like 10 minutes from the GW Bridge. So I'm like 2.5 hours from AC.
Oh, well, I will not see you there then.
No,
either way, I'll be in Jersey. Until next time, though, good luck to all of you and all of your bets. Bye, everyone.